Right here at home, longtime Xavier University president and civil rights pioneer Dr. Norman C. Francis lying in state at Xavier University. Francis passed away last month at the age of 94.
Travers, I have to tell you, when we arrived at Xavier University this morning, the sun was beaming directly here on the Convocation Center, almost like a nod from up above for a life so well lived, almost like the heavens saying, well done, my good and faithful servant. When you think about the life's work of Dr. Norman Francis and the tremendous impact he's had, no wonder this service is stretching out over 2 days, just because so many people want to come and pay their respects, and so many people have stories about how Dr. Francis has changed their life. One of those stories, Dr. Becknell, come step in. You may remember Dr. Clarence Becknell's being the Zulu historian, but he said to me that Dr. Norman Francis changed your life, and how was that?
Well, when we got back from the war back in the 70s, during the Vietnam War, it was very difficult for us to get into schools. And Dr. Francis made it possible for us to come to Xavier. And there were about 60 of us that had a program that was called the Career Opportunities Program. And we majored in early childhood education. So I got my first degree here in '72, then I came back and got a master's, and then I recently got my doctorate in '23, and Dr. Francis was aware of that, and that's the last time I spoke with him after I got my doctorate here.
But he changed the trajectory of your life just because veterans were having such a difficult time.
Right, exactly. Very, very difficult. No welcome home, no school, and we just had a difficult time getting jobs, employment. The only thing we could do is go to school. But Dr. Francis made it very possible for us to come to Xavier to do this program for us. And we were the only school that actually had it, on the university that had us.
Thank you, Dr. Becknell. Hearing from so many people who went to Xavier, people who didn't, people who wanted to come and pay their respects because they said their parents met at Xavier's campus. I heard from one woman who said that she was here in 1975, and she said, you know, sciences were tough, but Dr. Francis held the standard. And she said that's why he put Xavier on the map when it comes to blacks in the medical field and in sciences. She met her husband here at Xavier University. I talked to another student, class of 1985. He tells me he never even knew where Dr. Francis's office was because he was always accessible, always in the mix of the students, always on campus. The stories are plentiful, and my colleague, Alyssa Gomez, has been standing by on campus as people have been coming in and out to pay their respects, and that's where she picks up our coverage. Alyssa.
Yeah, Gina, like you said, since that viewing began at 9 a.m. this morning, it's just been a steady stream of community members, faculty, staff, alumni, and current students all coming to pay their respects to Dr. Norman C. Francis. Now, that steady stream of people is living proof of the impact he had not just on Xavier University, but on the city of New Orleans and beyond. While many are taking this solemn moment to reflect, there is also this feeling of joy as people celebrate Dr. Francis, his accomplishments, and the cherished moments that people shared with him. One of those people is Joseph Bird, retired vice president and dean of students at Xavier, who worked closely with Dr. Francis for many years. He says that's something he will miss most about Dr. Francis is spending time simply talking with him and hearing his stories.
When I would go in to talk to him, I would talk about work, and then after that, it was just sit and listen. You never left him without a learning experience. It's either something he experienced or something that happened on campus or something that happened back in Lafayette when he was a child, or something that that happened in all of his travels around the world.
And we will hear many more of those stories over the next 2 days as people reflect on their time with Dr. Francis. He will lie in state today until 3:30, followed by a visitation and a program later on this evening. Live at Xavier University, Alyssa Gomez, WDSU News. Gina, back to you.
All day, all morning, it's been a who's who of students and colleagues, officials and dignitaries streaming in and out of the Convocation Center here. Here is how the rest of the day is going to play out. We do expect Dr. Francis's family to arrive here sometime about 4 o'clock before that visitation program starts at 5 o'clock. We have been able to get a sneak peek of the program. Our colleague Norman Robinson is the MC. There are remarks from former Mayor Mitch Landrieu, Alden McDonald, the head of Liberty Bank, and a whole slew of dignitaries here as we memorialize and pay tribute to the life Dr. Francis lived. We'll have much more coming up in the next half hour, but for now, we're live at Xavier University at the Convocation Center. I'll send it back to you.